Picking back up on the body here. I was going to, on the next step, take the targa and the windshield off, but I wanted to address this tub in the back, so that's what I've got done on that. It's not super beautiful, but definitely better than what was there. It's way stronger. I had taken the emergency brake lever out and all the holes, and there was tons of tech screw holes throughout this thing where they just put tech screws in it everywhere. Somebody had screwed down a cup holder or something, and all the holes that were in that tunnel, I went ahead and just covered it up. Coming together fairly decent. I might have to do a little Bondo just to make it look halfway okay. I'm gonna do a whole bunch of Bondo work on this thing, but I need to patch some more pieces down in here and straighten that up a little bit. And then once I have a trail gear battery box, which will mount in there somewhere right here. I'll probably build a bracket off of this and come down and catch it. And off to the right side of that, I'm gonna have a ARB air compressor for the onboard air and for the air locker. So I need to do a little fabbing up in that area. That'll be coming up next too, and I need to finish welding these pans down here. So I've got the targa off, roll bar out of it. I didn't like what I found up in that dash, so I tore the dash out. That thing was full of so much rat nest. All the tubes were full of shit and all kinds of nuts and insulation, and it was just a fucking mess. So I ain't putting that dash back in there with all that shit in there. I'm gonna break out a piece of metal and make a custom dash for this thing that I can get in there and access all that stuff real easy. That way I can have a place to put some rocker switches for lights and the locker and everything. So that's all gonna get changed. I'm not very fond of the stock dash. It's outdated. This side's not too bad. I might cap a piece of metal on that. This side, I was actually able to get the bolt out, so that was a good thing, and it's actually solid in there, but that side's bad. I'll have to make a patch for up and over that, but it's looking all right. Tub's pretty sweet, I think. Targa is really not going to be that bad to fix now that I got it off. I'll be able to flip it upside down and fix them holes rather easy now that it's off there. Look at that corner rebuilt. It's pretty bad shape. It's pretty rotten in there. There's not really much to go to. So it doesn't really matter where you go. It's farther you go, it just seems like it just is bad. That whole thing is just so thin, but it's good. I'm trying to fit these roll bar brackets in here, and they're not lining up, so I'm having to alter them. Part of it is from where I did the floorboards. They didn't really come out exactly how Samurai is, but I don't think I was that fucking far off. Those things just aren't consistent. The other side is way better than this side was, but what I'm ending up doing, the way this thing is designed, I'm plating it to put it back together because I need this bracket in two pieces so that I can get this in and out, because the way these low range arms go down in there, you ain't gonna be able to get that thing out once you build the roll cage because of the way I built the tub. So in order to disassemble it after it's all welded up, I need to take it back out to paint it. So I have to alter this right here to make that work out, which it'll be fine. It'd be just as strong as what they had. Hell, that thing's only 3/16 metal, so I mean that bracket ain't that fucking strong. Probably, if anything, that's the weak point of it right there at that little thin junction, so it's probably gonna help it if anything. So get all these holes drilled back in there now. I want to get all the holes drilled and this whole roll cage laid out before I get too far into it. I don't want to be after paint trying to figure all this shit out. I want all this shit figured out beforehand. Get the dash about where I want it. Start cutting the holes in it for all the shit that's gonna go in it. Probably gonna make one more panel to go here somehow, tie in with these bolts and come down and get these little holes. There's 3 M6 bolts in there. Probably won't be the easiest thing to do, but see if I can make that work out. Turned out pretty good. It's not very fun to make, but wanted to do something different. I don't want to use the stock Samurai dash with all the shit in it. But overall, the roll cage turned out pretty nice. That dash tying in there made it kind of complete. I like it. The frame's all painted. I'm starting to assemble all the brake lines and fuel lines down the rail. The body is pretty much done except for that little bit on that rear quarter. Needs a little bit of mud in it. I don't have the mud, so I got to get some. But firewall's done. The windshield frame, I have a new one there. It just needs to be switched out. I just had that on there to mock up for the roll cage. So that stuff's all ready to come back off now. The target's repaired. It's ready for a little bit of mud in the cover. And I didn't even mud all these. I just seam sealed the rockers. For what I'm going to do with it, it's going to be fine. I'm not making a super showpiece, though I do want it to be stout, but got most of that in primer. It's all seam sealed. I ran out of primer. I need to go get some supplies. The back of the tub, that's where I ran out, and I still need to seam seal some of that, but the roll cage turned out nice. I'm going to get this set on to the chassis eventually, probably in the next 3 to 4 days. I want to get the bottom of it painted first, so I need to cut that in, and then once I set it, I'll build this back part of the roll cage. I don't want to take the roll cage out of it until it's all completely built, and then I'll pull it all as one to paint it. The subwoofer's getting some mounted up under there, so I got to make some brackets for it. The battery box is complete, and I don't know if I have room off to the side. I don't think I do. I need to get it back in around the engine to see if I can actually get that pump here, and if I can, then I'll weld off of this and just repaint it. But I don't think I'm gonna have room, so I've got to make another bracket over here for the washer tank, for the windshield washer, and I may mount that ARB and air tank underneath it. All that stuff's all going to be bolt on anyway, because I've got these brackets and then these 2 fender holes. That's what I used up under that battery box, was those 2 fender holes. So I don't have the bolts in it, it's just sitting there, but get a good idea of what you got. most part, just rattle can most of this whole truck. I don't really care. As long as it's black and green, that'll be the colors. So till the next video, I think this is going to I think this is number 3. I'm probably going to be able to do this whole build, and it'll probably be 5 vids, I'd say. So about the next one, the next video, the engine will be back in it and the cab will be sitting on it. Got the transmission rebuilt. I didn't film none of that shit, but it's all done. It's ready to all be bolted back up, and she's coming along pretty decent. Another couple weeks we should be doing pretty well on it.